Well, everyone, this is a little bonus video along with today's conversation around chakras. I wasn't sure where you all stood with chakras, so I wanted to bring in a very dear friend to come in and help us with some visuals and a little bit of more information around these wonderful things known as chakras. When I discovered chakras, my mind was open to all sorts of curious happenings, and it was electrifying, to say the least. And do you think it brought some curiosity around food? You bet it did. But we're going to talk a little bit more about that in part 2. So this is part 1, really just an introduction to what chakras are and why you might want to explore them a little bit more. I will also send along some books, some articles and some websites, and I know that Katie will have some herself. So I met Katie just under a year ago. I actually invited her to my house for a dinner, a chakra balancing dinner. And Katie came along and we hit it off as the proverbial, like a house on fire. And we have been working in each other's spaces ever since. Katie does a lot of work with essential oils. She does a lot of work with veterans. She does a lot of work in the chakra space. So I thought she was the perfect person to come on board and help us talk about this beautiful area of chakras. And I'll bring her back for part 2 as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Katie to introduce herself and join me on the call. Hi, Katie.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, it was such a pleasure to be invited along to your chakra dinner, not having a clue like how it would be. I was absolutely blown away and enjoyed every single level of it. And it just deepened my own awareness around the nourishment at each of the chakras. So I'll be forever grateful for that. And then since then, you've also come and helped me within some of my own programs with the nourishment component and even more. So I've been so blessed to have met you and even coming on here today. So I thank you.
You're very welcome. So Katie, would you like to introduce the folks watching this a little bit about what chakras are?
Yes. So there are a number of chakras within the body. There are some in our hands, there's some in our shoulders, there's some in our feet, little ones. Really what a chakra is just anywhere where there's a nerve plexus that has a biogenic magnetization to it. But the 7 that we really love to talk about and the 7 that are really great to work on, they range from our root all the way up to the crown of our head. They're like a central channel. And chakra actually translates to wheel or disc. And when that biogenic magnetism happens at the nerve plexus, it actually spins, energetically spins. And in layman's terms, what a chakra does is it brings life force energy or prana within the body. And if we have prana or life force energy flowing throughout our whole body, we can just live our best life. So that's why I love the chakras.
Yes, they are wonderful, but they can get stuck, can't they?
They can. The blockages can happen where if you think of it as energy moving throughout the body, the energy sort of just will stop there and it might try and bustle its way through and then try and, come up or down or however that energy is moving. So, yeah, we want to try and keep it open at all times if we can.
Right. Okay, fantastic. So can you demonstrate a little bit about where these chakras are in the body and how they look? And I know they're related to color, and that's what's really beautiful about them. So you've got red, orange, yellow, green is for the heart, turquoisey blue for the throat chakra. And you've got, I'm sorry, stealing the thunder there a little bit. And then you've got your third eye color, and then you've got the crown of the head color. But if you're drawn, the other thing is some people will actually dress their underclothing in the color of the chakra that they're trying to move. So you'll get people doing chakra work, and they'll be wearing red underwear, for example, which is for the root chakra. And
wearing red crystals.
Red crystals, or they'll wear a turquoise scarf around their necks, or any number of things, or wear green when they want to open up their heart chakra. So I know that you've got a really interesting graphic to show everyone. So I'll let
I do.
I'll
share my screen. For those that are visual, I'm a very visual person, and Pat and I love color. So this beautiful graphical representation shows those colors that Patricia was just talking about, where at the base of the spine there, you can see that the root chakra, and there's the nerve plexus coming off the back, is that red, that beautiful earthly deep red. And Muladhara is the Sanskrit name for the root chakra. And as you can see, they're nestled at the base of the spine. If we come up a little bit higher, we have our sacral chakra. That one there's orange. That one represents, the element for that one is water. So flowing through life. Svadhisthana, and it's positioned at the pubic bone. If we come up a little bit higher, we've got that beautiful, joyful yellow, and that's Manipura. So that's one of my favorite chakras at the solar plexus, and it's located between the navel and the breastbone. When we come up a little bit higher, we've got the bridge of the chakras. So those three at the bottom are earthly chakras. So earth, water, and fire with solar plexus. But when we get to the heart, we've got the bridge that's from the earth up to the more spiritually thinking chakras. So the heart is green, that beautiful green, and Manipura. And our heart actually extends even out through our arms and into our hands as well, our heart chakra.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So when we hug people or touch people, that's all heart chakra work.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So good.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Pat gives amazing hugs, by the way. They're like medicine. When we come up a bit higher, the blue there is the throat chakra, Vishuddha, and it's located here at the front of the throat. Up a bit higher, between our brows, is our third eye chakra, Ajna. And then at the top of the head is our crown chakra, Sarashara. So it actually faces up and out of our head, connecting us with source. So I love that graphic because it shows the colors and the positions throughout our body.
Oh, that's very powerful. Really powerful. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Ah, I just love that. So, what are some of the words people might associate with chakras when you're feeling things aren't quite working right in the body, and you're trying to put a name to it, put something to it, and it's in a you feel it somewhere.
So like when you've got a heartache or a heaviness and you can't take a breath,
or you can't speak, or you can't get your words out, you can't get your message out to the world. A lot of people and a lot of women struggle with this, and I know that men struggle with this as well, but I play around in the female space more than I do in the male space. So I know a lot of women who are always feeling like their words aren't being heard. They're stifled. They're not able to express how they're really feeling. And that would be the throat chakra, which is an interesting problem that keeps coming up in different conversations that I have.
Yeah, 100%. The body is a beautiful thing. It actually tells us what it needs. And if we can stop for long enough to listen to it, it's actually the energy in our body and the chakras assimilating that energy in our body that give us the messaging around what it is that we need to do. So if we were exactly what you're saying there about the throat chakra, if we were to start down at the base and talk about just a little bit about each of them, if we think about our base, our earthly, like where do we belong on this earth? Who am I? Who is my tribe? Where do I belong? Am I in my body? Is my body my home? So it's our safety, our security, and our survival. So if we're not feeling part of something or safe in our own home, then our root chakra is definitely going to be out. And if you think of the root chakra as the foundation for our body, for our energy, if that's out, the rest of them aren't going to be doing too well. So this is the one we always want to start with and work on. And if we move up, then
it's interesting because that sort of goes parallel to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And if you start at that very base, when you're really developing your personality as a child as well, if you don't get that base met, you're going to be out of sorts within your life for most of your life when the base isn't feeling right or is built on shifting territory that's going on underneath.
You've got no earth underneath your feet. You're
That's
not
right.
grounded. This is a root. This is a chakra, the root one. You can visit all the time. I'm at the moment set into my second week of some deep root chakra exploration. And it's beautiful because every time it's like an onion, you remove another layer and another layer and another layer, and you discover more and more about yourself. So the root chakra is really beautiful to work with. If we've got that strong foundation, we can then put the bowl on top of it, which is our sacral chakra, which has got the water in it, right? So if that base isn't there, the water's just going to spill out everywhere. So we want to live in flow. We want to feel emotion, sensuality, pleasure. So pleasure in life, being out in the rain and feeling the rain trickle down your face and feeling it on your skin, or being able to touch your body and go, oh, that feels nice, or something like that. Cultivating really beautiful, healthy relationships with people, feeling at peace with the relationship with yourself, in order to feel safe with others. So sacral, so important also.
Yeah.
Feeling joy in life. What is it that you actually really love to do?
Exactly.
Some people can't even answer that.
I know. And that's what I love about the work that we do, is we're trying to help people connect with themselves to bring joy. And it's everybody's responsibility to bring joy to themselves.
Yeah. So
that they can experience and express themselves out in the world, and also to have the joy of experiencing life with other people.
100%.
And you can be a bit rigid. If your water is spilling out everywhere, you can be a bit rigid in your attitudes and the way you show up out there.
And also not really being able to connect with emotion. I've been in the military for a very long time. So only in the last 5 years have I learned how to feel, because I never really needed to or had to before. I've learned this now. So being able to go, what is this emotion that's coming up? Oh, that's a bit of anger. Understanding it, breathing into it, shifting on from it, not holding on to it or not suppressing it. That's all sacral chakra work. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that is beautiful.
When we come up a bit more, this is an exciting one, the solar plexus. Remember, its element was fire. So this is your personal power, your sense of self, like, who am I? Why am I here? What am I going to do? So are you going to be excessive in that? Like, I'm amazing, big ego, in the gym, pumping lots of weights, being this over dominant masculine energy person? Or are you going to be the opposite of that, timid, shy, don't know why you're here, don't know who you are? There's this polar opposites in this chakra, but we just want balance in the middle. We just want to find out what aligns with us, what we want to do more of, from the joy and the who we are, into this beautiful, I'm out here to teach this and share this message, yourself, your children, just knowing who you are in this lifetime. It's a beautiful one.
It is a beautiful one. And it's one that I revisit and need to revisit over and over and over again. It's the chakra that, excuse me, it's the chakra that seems to bring up a lot of stuff for me.
Confidence in self. Yeah. It is a good one to revisit. All of those earthly chakras are, for sure.
Yeah. When somebody has asked me to close my eyes and visualize something, that golden yellow that I associate with that chakra always comes up. Sometimes it feels warm like the sun, and sometimes it feels cold and dry like straw. And it varies in what's going on with me, but I always visualize that yellow color, whether it's a warm feeling or a cold, dry feeling, or a lovely balanced feel to it. It's the color that comes up for me more and more. And so I know I need to spend quite a bit of time in the chakra.
That's a beautiful awareness of self right there. Really good.
Yeah. Every time I close my eyes, after I see that color, it's like,
damn you, yellow.
No.
So if we've got our foundations and our waters in our bowl and our fires beautifully crispling away, crispling's not even a word, but it is today, we can move up to the bridge. We can cross the bridge. We can go into the beautiful abundance of the heart chakra. So the heart chakra is all about unconditional love, compassion, forgiveness, self-love. There's lots of people, and I'm going to say this, that at the moment, are giving out, giving out to everyone, give all their love, and they're saving none for themselves. So this chakra is really important to focus on self-love, because in order to give out all of you, you need to love and honor all of you.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is something I can talk from experience. As a military woman, you don't really know about love or loving yourself. So you learn these things and you discover these things about yourself the more you dive into these particular chakras. But it's about connection, devotion. It's also about like compassion for self, empathy for self, and forgiveness of self, not being too hard on yourself. Like, yeah, you would forgive others, but you don't forgive yourself.
Exactly.
There's incongruency there.
That's right. And I've been looking at a book recently by Kim Morrison, who also, and Fleur Wellingen, called like Chocolate for Women. And it is 100% about creating self-love and the different practices, including lots and lots of practices using essential oils, using them in a particular way to express self-love and to nurture and nourish the body.
Oh, that sounds divine.
Oh, yeah.
Nice name too. I like chocolate.
Beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. And so Kim's written another book, but that's a really lovely one.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to have a look into that one.
Mm-hmm.
Pat earlier was talking about the throat chakra. This one's so important for all of us. It's about communication. It's about creativity. It's about listening. So the last one I just said, they're listening. People don't actively listen to themselves and their own inner voice and their own knowledge and inner wisdom. Therefore, they're not listening to others. Have you been in a conversation with someone where you've been talking away, sharing something that's really important to you, but you can sense their energy that they're just waiting for their turn to talk? Sometimes they even interject and tell their little story that they're like, I've got to tell my story. And, and they interject on you. That's a very overactive throat chakra. And the more you discover and learn about your own chakras, you'll actually pick this up in your daily relationships and conversations with people. But being able to authentically speak your truth, be heard, and be felt that you're being heard is a game changer.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't agree more, Katie. And regardless of what you do out in the world, what your purpose is, whether you're employed or you employ, or whether you work for yourself, being able to share that piece of you that is going to help you make human connection is something that people need to feel and understand from you. And it comes from here. And it's stunning when people are, you get out of your head, come into your body, use your heart to connect to your throat chakra and really share. But as you're sharing, also introduce the concept of that pause so that people can catch up and reflect on what you've just said before you move on to your next point, which I think is just an interesting way of people learning to communicate better with each other.
100%. And being able to sit in silence. If you're someone that does like to fill space and talk a lot and feel like you need to talk a lot, learn how to be in silence, learn how to not speak.
Oh yes, we should all go on that. Was it a 10-day monastery retreat where you don't speak for 2 weeks? I think it is.
Imagine it. It would be hard. I love to talk.
Petrifies me.
Yeah. Oh, so throat chakra is so important, as is the next one. So third eye chakra is all around our perception, our intuition, our imagination, our inner wisdom. So being able to be in a space where someone says, imagine and picture a river, and you're like, I can't see a gosh darn river. And you're trying to do this because your third eye is so blocked that you can't even use your imagination to picture this river. So how are you going to be able to hear your own inner wisdom or listen to your higher self talking to you if it's so blocked and stifled? And this is all linked to your pineal gland here. So there are, which I'm sure Pat will do in part 2, some beautiful nourishing ways that you can activate your pineal gland. And there's also moves and things. This one here, really important to work on if you're visions are quite blocked, you're not dreaming, you can't hear yourself, speak to yourself.
That's an interesting point. If you're not dreaming. Interesting. I hadn't heard that one before.
Even perception, like if your perception of things is aggravating you all the time, it's interesting to look at the third eye chakra and do some third eye chakra work to see if it's actually
that's your
you.
Belief systems. That's your belief systems coming up and
smacking you in the head.
Exactly, smacking you right there, going, hello. I think you need to reassess, realign, rethink.
It's that fight as well between your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, and
which
that
is where
third eye chakra.
Where your belief systems come screaming at you, and you're like, I cannot possibly do that.
Yeah, the little trapdoor busts open.
That's right. And that actually blocks us from achieving or doing something, because this little, the itty bitty shitty committee's in there having a conversation telling you, I'm sorry, but you've never been able to do that. What makes you think you can do it now?
Evil.
That's right.
Shut them down.
We want to tune them out, shut them down, and really explore what is possible.
Yeah, 100%. And when we come to things that are possible, we come to the crown chakra. So this is all around divine consciousness, unity, connection to your higher self, to your deity that you have a belief system with, just openness. So trusting and allowing and being free and having non-attachment to things. So this is like that. This is how I describe it. It's all the energies come up and then it's like, top. There's not really any words for it. It's just a sound does a better job.
That's right. Oh, beautiful. Oh, Katie, that was wonderful. Thank you for running us through from our root to our crown, all of the places that are in between, and all of them are important, and all of them can go out of balance or they can stay in balance. And our job and our work is to understand them so that we can understand when they're out of balance, and we can have that conversation with our body to bring it back into balance.
Such a beautiful gift.
That's what you love to do. And that's what I've been exploring. I've been exploring it from the food side, but just understanding it and knowing where those imbalances are and where you're just not showing up for yourself that day and really appreciating why, then you can go and do the inner work that helps you move forward.
Gives you direction, doesn't it?
It does. But it's also that bigger experience of tuning in and listening to the wisdom that the body has for you. It's not from the outside world. It is all right here. It's within us. And when we connect to ourselves and really understand that, we can do so much good for ourselves and for the world around us and for those around us. It's a beautiful thing.
So much so. Thank you so much, Pat.
Oh, Katie, thank you for jumping on with me. And as I mentioned at the beginning, Katie's going to join us at the end in December as well. And we're going to talk about recognizing those imbalances and how to balance. So that this conversation with chakras is definitely a two-parter. So you want to pay attention to part 2 as well. Thank you for joining me, Katie.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody. And there'll be more around this video in just a few minutes. Thank you.